Bullet for My Valentine is one of my all-time favorite bands, and today I'm going to be showing you 6 of my favorite riffs from the back catalogue. So riff number 1 is from the first album, The Poison, and it's from the title track itself. This riff to me seems to sum up the band's sound from that era, and it goes something like this. So that riff conjures up a lot of nostalgia for me. It kind of reminds me of getting into the band in high school, and it also sort of encompasses a lot of what the band's sound was back in that sort of early Poison era. And also, that's only one guitar part as well. I think that riff really comes to life when Padge joins in and does the harmony parts. So yeah, if you put those two guitar parts together, for me, that's the Bullet for My Valentine sound, or at least early Bullet for My Valentine sound. Okay, so for the next riff, this one's from Don't Need You, which is pretty much, I would say, my favorite Bullet for My Valentine song ever. It's the chorus riff, and it's not so much the strummy chords, but it's this sort of chuggy palm muted rhythm that it sort of goes into in the back end. It goes something like this. So yeah, it's just a big combination between all those big fat chords right there, but mostly it's that. So for me, I hadn't really seen the band do anything like that at that point in a chorus, you know. Usually with a lot of choruses, it's a lot of strumming and stuff, so to sort of have all these big fat sounding chords to just move into this big tanky heavy riff like that, it's just all perfection in my opinion. And then obviously moving into the big fat riff at the end there as well. And Matt actually downpicks that. So let me know if you guys can do that, because that's impossible to me. It's a very sort of Bring Me the Horizon kind of picking pattern that. You know, if you think of songs like House of Wolves, if you're a Bring Me fan. And I learned to pick that way from Lee Malia, basically, learning Bring Me stuff. So when I heard that song, it was like, oh, okay, it's the sort of like bouncy palm muty rhythm. But then to watch Matt sort of on his playthrough video, like sort of tanking his way through with the down pick, that's unreal to me. But let me know if you guys can down pick that one, because that is a challenge for sure. So for this next riff, you guys might not know that this riff exists. I know I certainly didn't until I started breaking down the song recently for one of my covers and guitar lessons. It's from the song Not Invincible, which is a bonus track from the Temper Temper album. A lot of people argue that this one song is kind of better than the whole Temper Temper album front to back, but that is a discussion for another time for sure. But this is the riff that happens underneath the guitar solo, and it goes something like this. So yeah, what a cool riff. It's quite a quirky one in terms of the way that it moves, but it just sort of reminded me of Waking the Demon, I guess, with it being sort of like a 4th fret riff, and just It's just the way it moves, the way it's sort of, I don't know, it's quite janky and it's quite quirky. And yeah, it's just a riff that I was really surprised to find in there when I was picking it apart. And it just goes to show that some of the best riffs in metal songs usually happen underneath the guitar solo. While we're talking all things Bullet for My Valentine, I thought I'd quickly mention my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library. This is my Patreon exclusive in-depth series of guitar lessons where I break down all the band songs from their back catalogue. As I break down each one of the songs, we take a look at the guitar solos, all the rhythm guitar parts, and the harmonies. I also hold polls over there as well so you guys can vote for which songs I cover and accept requests. So if you want to support the channel and learn to play like Bullet for My Valentine, head down below to the description, get yourself signed up and enjoy my ad-free Bullet for My Valentine lessons. So the next riff that I've got is from the self-titled album. It's from the song Stitches. And again, it's another riff that happens underneath the guitar solo. It goes something like this. Again, another great riff that happens underneath the guitar solo. It's sort of based off of the main sort of riff in the song. What I would say is the surprise comes, I suppose, when it modulates up a whole step. And then that sort of harmonic minor tagline on the end. That's really cool because Page is sort of copying that in his guitar solo. That's a really good riff right there. It's a good one for downpicking and galloping as well. Another important part of Bullet for My Valentine sound is, of course, their clean guitar passages, whether it's in their ballads or just little stopgaps in their big heavy songs. This is from one of my all-time favorite songs by the band. It's called A Place Where You Belong. So after being acquainted with the sort of old school Bullet for My Valentine playing style, I remember the frustration when the Fever album dropped of hearing that song and trying to figure out precisely what was going on with that riff. All I could hear was this series of sort of palm muted notes, if you like. You know, I just couldn't work out, was he sort of like playing single notes going up a scale? I just couldn't work out what was going on, as they hadn't really done anything like that at that point. The songwriting on the Fever album sort of went through the roof. It's my favourite Bullet for My Valentine album. But yeah, eventually I learned that he's outlining a bar chord right there with some hammer-ons, and you can learn all about that riff again on my Patreon exclusive guitar lesson for that song. Matt Tuck himself said in a recent interview that that song didn't seem to get the attention he thought it deserved, and I completely agree with him right there. It's a very dense song in terms of layers and stuff like that, which again, like I said, made working the riff out an absolute nightmare over the years. But yeah, I absolutely love that one. Okay, so for my last riff, hopefully my right arm's warmed up enough to pull this one off, but this is from the song Parasite. So yes, when Parasite came out, I think that took everybody by surprise, especially after the Gravity album. I think we all knew they were going back in a heavier direction, especially after what was being said in interviews and after the first single, Knives, as well. But yeah, I was not expecting Parasite to be so heavy, so thrashy, you know, to have like all the intrinsic parts that make Bullet My Valentine sound up, but just turned up to 11. It's got the fast riffs, it's got the gallops in there, it's got the screams, it's got the guitar solo, it's got a big sort of breakdown at the end of it. To me, that song is Bullet My Valentine perfection, and that's the last song on my list. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you love Bullet My Valentine like I do, be sure to subscribe because I do a lot of Bullet My Valentine content on this channel. Again, if you love Bullet My Valentine as much as I do, be sure to check out the Bullet My Valentine guitar lesson library down in the description on my Patreon. The first 2 ad-free lessons are already sat there waiting for you guys. There's Not Invincible from Temper Temper, and there's Hand of Blood from the Hand of Blood EP. So if you want to support the channel that way, join the community, get yourself signed up, start voting for what songs you want to see me break down. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for sticking around, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.